We're joined in our studio now by the Minister of State with responsibility for migration, Colm Brophy. Minister, good morning and thank you for coming in to speak with us this morning. The war in Ukraine isn't over, so why is the help ending?
The war in Ukraine isn't over and the help isn't ending, and I think that's very important. I mean, what the Cabinet Subcommittee on Justice did yesterday was to look at how we put in place a sustainable transition from what was something that was introduced at the start of the war, which was temporary protection. And temporary protection, as its name implies, is a temporary in nature.
But it's temporary in nature. Presumably it's temporary while the war is going on. The war is still going on.
To finish the point I was making, so what we want to recognise, in conjunction with the fact that the war is still going on, we want to recognise how we can best put in place the structures to deal with this on a sustained basis in the future. And there were a couple of things we actually looked at doing in relation to that. The first is we'll be actually looking at how we put in place, at the request of the Ukrainians, because the Ukrainian government has been clear on this from day one, that they wanted citizens to be able to go back. They're looking at pilot programmes which we would like to be involved in to help Ukrainians return, even when the war is still going on. And by the way, 1.2 million Ukrainians have already returned from Europe to Ukraine.
Okay.
So that is actually happening. Secondly, what we're actually looking at is moving away, and we believe this is correct, from commercial providers of accommodation to enabling a situation where Ukrainians are providing their own accommodation. Very important to bear in mind, different to what was possibly in the Vox Pop there that you portrayed, where accommodation has closed down or has been moved already, 50% of Ukrainians don't take up the offer of free accommodation that was there. They actually move into their own accommodation and they want to. And most importantly, we'll still be providing the 30 days for Ukrainians arriving into the country. But, believe it or not, 22% only availed of that even 30 days when they arrived in the last month.
All right.
So we're seeing quite clearly Ukrainians are a very resilient people. They want to come here, and when they want to come here and they're choosing to come to Ireland, by the way, in very large numbers compared to other European countries, they want to actually participate and be involved.
OK, the 16,000 people who'll have their state-supported accommodation withdrawn, where are they going to go?
So what we're going to do is we're going to put in place a series of measures. And by the way, just to reassure people on the comment in the Vox Pop about 3 months, the 3 months will commence from August. What we're going to do is we're going to work to make sure that we have a programme in place. But most importantly, what we want to see is Ukrainians moving out of what is a very expensive thing for the state to provide, which is the actual commercial providers, to be able to move into accommodation. But if there are vulnerable Ukrainians, they will be able and will be supported by the state. So vulnerable people will not be left alone.
That will be a small number. So there are 16,000 people who are affected here. You say that you want them to move out of the state-funded accommodation. Where are they going to go?
Well, we believe, and the indications are quite clearly, that at the moment 50% plus are moving into private accommodation already.
Okay. So that's a point, right? So the private rental market is going to be swamped now, by people from Ukraine looking for private rental accommodation?
No, it's not. What it is it's going to be a situation where we believe in a combination of a number of circumstances. Some actually might choose to take a situation where there'll be supports to return. Some, I believe, will absolutely be capable of moving into private accommodation, and the Ukrainian community has already clearly shown that this is the case.
Do you want people to go home?
No, we want people to be able to avail of choices. We want people to be able to go home if they want to go home, and the Ukrainian government is very clear that that is something they would like to see, because they want to see people come back to Ukraine to help rebuild the country. But we also want to protect the most vulnerable, and we also want to make it quite clear that we will be putting in place a transition period in conjunction with Europe. So Europe is looking, because it is an important point, Europe is looking at ending the Temporary Protection Directive as it currently stands. Possibly there'll be an extension to a new version of the temporary protective, but at the same time we will be looking at how, with our European fellow member states, we can put in place a process for continued residency for Ukrainians in Ireland who don't want to go home.
But that voluntary return programme that you're talking about there, and presumably that will see some payments being made to Ukrainians to help them to go home and set up back home if they want to do that. That won't be in place until next year, but you're asking you're forcing people to leave their accommodation at the end of this year. So why are you forcing people out before you have the supports in place to get them to allow them to go home?
No, we don't want to have a cliff edge at all, and we're going to work with people. What we indicated yesterday was the direction of travel of what we want to see and how we want to achieve that. But we're quite clear we want to work with people with no cliff edge to put in place something that we believe will be of benefit to Ukrainian people who are here in Ireland, that we believe will be of benefit to the Ukrainian government and some of the things that it's seeking to do, and also that we believe will be a benefit to the actual state in terms of delivering significant cost savings in terms of commercial providers and enabling that accommodation to be returned to possibly hospitality, tourism, or to private use, which I think is a much better outcome for everyone concerned.
Those who are highly vulnerable, you're saying, will still be put up in accommodation. What's meant by the term highly vulnerable?
Well, we're going to put in place as a process of self-declaration on that, and we're going to build, obviously, a structure around that. But we want to recognise that there are a small cohort of people who came from Ukraine who would be vulnerable. And
that sounds vague at the moment. So what does it actually mean? I mean, for example, would a young mother with small children be classed as highly vulnerable?
Well, what we're actually going to do, yesterday we had the first stage in this process, which was actually just the sub-cabinet meeting of justice. Now we're going to be bringing forward the proposals to cabinet, and we will flesh out completely all the proposals in terms of what I have been talking about, which will include the proposals around vulnerability.
The payment of €600, which is made monthly to people who are housing Ukrainians, that's going to be phased out starting in September, and it will be gone entirely by March of next year. 42,000 people are housed with assistance, the assistance of that payment. Many of them are in people's homes, and those homes are not available to the tourism sector or to business. So there's not a justification for taking, for putting those properties back on the market because they're generally people's homes. What is the justification for ending that payment? Well,
what we've looked at is ARP was always a temporary payment, and ARP came in actually at €400, went up to €800. I and Minister O'Callaghan reduced that to €600. And now what we want to see, and we've clearly indicated, is an end to ARP.
Why?
Well, because what we actually believe is as you go from a situation, as I clearly said earlier on, where temporary must mean temporary, to a more permanent solution, we must have equality of treatment right across what we're trying to do.
Okay.
And we gain equality of treatment by ending the ARP system. And we believe there is going to be the sufficient capacity to allow people to move into accommodation or to make whatever choice.
Where is the capacity, Minister? Because we know there's a housing crisis, we know there's a rental shortage, so where are those people going to go? So you have 16,000 people moving out, potentially of state-supported accommodation, and 42,000 people now. The payments that are made to the people who put those refugees up, they're going to stop next year. So where are those people going to go?
Well, what I actually believe, we don't want a cliff edge on this, and we will work through a system to ensure that transition takes place. But it is important to start that transition so as that we have an equality of treatment right across the board in terms of how we are actually accommodating people. ARP was always due to be a temporary process, and we believe that what we must do...
And you've said that, but you haven't said where they're going to go.
Well, we believe that there's a clear indication which in terms of accommodation that's ceased so far, where well over 50% on average of Ukrainians are finding commercial provision of accommodation, that we will be able to work with the Ukrainian community to ensure that we have that transition and they will find accommodation.
It's going to make finding a rental property for anybody in the market from next year on very, very difficult, isn't it?
What we are doing is we're ensuring that there's an equal access to the market for everybody, and what we believe is that it is possible to do that. Remember,
but you're going to add more people. More people are going to be looking for properties next year, aren't they?
And we are actually increasing capacity all the time going into the market, which is important to remember as well.
In March of this year, the Taoiseach said the following. He said, Irish people have opened their hearts, their homes and their communities to a people in need, and the Ukrainians have come here and made an immense contribution to the communities in which they live. We continue to stand with Ukraine for as long as it takes. Is taking away supports and accommodation from Ukrainians who are fleeing war, is that what standing with Ukrainians for as long as it takes looks like to you?
Well, What we're actually doing is we are recognising that we have to stand with Ukraine in the long term, and that will be not just as it was, a temporary situation, but a long-term situation. Ireland is to the absolute forefront in supporting Ukraine in its membership application of the European Union, and we will actually be generous in what we're doing for Ukrainians here, both in terms of the vulnerability aspect and in terms of a returns programme, and we'll also be there to ensure that we're supporting them in terms of, with our European fellow members, in devising a system where they can transition from temporary to a more permanent residency. And I believe all of that shows a clear indication on the government's part to stand with the people of Ukraine and the government of Ukraine.
Do you accept that many of the people who will be affected by these changes, that many of them are children in schools, they're people with roots in Irish communities who've made a contribution, as the Taoiseach has said. They have friends and relationships here, and they have bonds which will now be destroyed because of the decisions that you're making?
I think the terminology destroyed, regrettable, is the way I would phrase that word. What we're actually trying to do is not destroy anything. We're trying to actually build long-term paths for Ukrainian people to remain, if they want so, as part of Ireland and Irish communities. And we're also trying to facilitate for those Ukrainians who want to go home the option to do that. And we're also trying to ensure we're protecting the vulnerability. That's not destruction. That's actually enhancing the integration of Ukrainians with Ireland.
Minister of State for Migration, Colm Brophy, thank you very much for coming in to speak with us this morning.